return of 7 yards. And it is time for Dutch Fork football. First down, Dutch Fork. Rush by number 4, Jarvis Green, a loss of 1 on the play. It's second down. Rush by number 4, Jarvis Green, gain of 2 on the play. It's third down. Delay again. Dutch Fork remains third down. Ball down at the 34-yard line. First down.
Hard defense!
By number 31, Jim Montgomery. It's second down.
Defense! 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 Defense!
Tackle for loss by number 93, Alexander Johnson. Only make it loud, Sugar Thompson. It's a penalty, 20 touchdown! second down. Rush, gain of 2 yards of play. Making left, Silver Foxes sends us now. First down.
Go! Don't break, baby.
Rush, gain of 3 on the play. Second down.
Go defense!
Incomplete pass. All right, here we go, Silver Foxes. It's enough. Now we see what. Rush, gain of 3 on the play. Hit, 4th down, Silver Foxes.
Go, Jordan, go! Let's go!
that's a rush by number 4, Jarvis Green, a gain of 8 on the play. Second down. Cheer fans, that's another all-way orthodontic. Third down. Rush by number 4, Jarvis Green. Loss of 5 on the play. Second down. No penalty. It remains second down. The Human Being of Irmo is a proud sponsor of Dutch Fork High. Next time you need a boost to your wings, swing by and get a special coffee, tea, smoothie, energy drink, and more. Students and staff of Dutch Fork receive 10% off each visit throughout the school year.
championship games. Coming into tonight, well, they wanted to find the best of the best to put their 43-game regular season win streak on the line against.
Yeah, just the level of consistency. And the football is just so hard. It has a lot comes into play. First of all, you're going to lose guys every single year to graduation. And then,
5-yard penalty. Still going to be third down.
And just battling injuries and, of course, graduation, we're going to lose guys every single year. So for them to hold that level of consistency year in and year out is a true testament to Dutch Fork.
28 seniors on this Dutch Fork team this season. If you look down the sidelines, you see all those senior banners hanging up that I'm sure will be rolled up into attics for years and years to come, eventually put back up in man caves down the road for all these guys. Well, it's 3rd and 9 following the encroachment penalty. John Hunt dropping back to pass, looking for action out of the backfield.
It looked like he wasn't even looking for the ball on that play right there. Didn't know it was coming his way.
A miscommunication with the tight end, Garrett Wirtz. That'll bring up 4th and 9 from their own 41-yard line. And Tom Knotts elects to bring on his punt team.
Do the same thing again on this next go around for them.
Kyrie Benton, the speedy receiver, set to return. He stands at the St. Francis 30. And a fake from Dutch Fork, and it'll be a late kick. Big boom over the head of Benton. In one hop, he'll pick it up just in front of the 15. Got some space on the far side. Penalty flag flying in. Plenty of green grass in front of him.
Like he's taking it to the house, but
as Kyrie Benton takes it for 6, but this one may be coming back
flag on the play
with a yellow hanky. Have to see what the referee's whistle is, because that initial fake punt did not work in Dutch Fork's favor. And that would have been a huge momentum shifter with just over a minute left in this first quarter.
So it looks like they're going to get a huge break right here, depending on what this call goes.
Illegal block in the back during the return. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That is a huge break.
A huge break in favor of Dutch Fork, and a big demoralizer for St. Francis to see their first score of the night come back.
Yeah, that's a good chance for Dutch Fork now.
You see Benton just broke across the left side. That's how dangerous his speed can be in the open field.
Yeah, and he was off to the races, but it was a good.
Well, 1st and 10, St. Francis. Michael Van Buren switching a little bit of action in the backfield. Now 2 receivers to each side. Handoff to Washington. Up across the 35, brought down at the 36. Move the change yet again for Darrell Washington.
Yeah, we're right up the middle right there for Mr. Washington right there. Good run for them.
Oh, in the opening quarter. Van Buren, quarterback keeper around the right side, cross midfield. Tripped up and pushed out. Is on what might have been a touchdown-saving stop. The safety, Landon Daney.
Yeah, that was a huge stop right there. And the offensive line right now, you can see on this play, they got a great push. Van Buren got to the outside and was able to pick up a lot of yards right there on that play.
St. Francis having no problems moving upfield on their second drive of the night. 2 plays, 2 first downs. Van Buren, handoff. Robinson up across the 25, still on his feet at the 10, diving for the pylon. Touchdown, St. Francis. Darrell Robinson from 38 yards out puts the Panthers on the board first.
Yeah, that was a great run right there. Got a great push and was able to find a hole and take off. And they finished it off with just leaping over the defender to get the touchdown.
In and around the right side. This was the play that set it up from Van Buren to put them in scoring position. 16 seconds left in the opening quarter. Now, field goal kicks and extra points is not the specialty of St. Francis. They don't elect to do them often, but in a game like this where points have been hard to come by in the opening quarter, you'll take all you can get. As initially, they had Carlton Smith on to kick. Instead, Smith jogged over to the sidelines. We've got a new face.
It looks like they're going to go ahead and try to take a chance on this extra point.
South Carolina, St. Francis leading Dutch Fork 6-0 after initially lining up for the extra point. The offense back on the field looking for two. Van Buren on the trick play goes to the left side, and into the end zone goes Kevin Humes, make it 8-0. St. Francis, as powering through was Darrell Robinson, a 38-yard carry to put the Panthers on top early.
Yeah, it was a second time for the offense to get out there on the field for St. Francis, and this time they found a way to punch it in. Although they point right there, they figured out a way to find a way to get it down there on the field on this drive, and it was a solid drive for the offense, and now it's time to see if Dutch Fork can do the same thing.
Darrell Robinson, Boston College Eagle fans will be excited to see that. Just committed to Jeff Hadley's squad last Wednesday. And he has had an unbelievable start here tonight, getting close to
It's a beautiful facility, and the fans showed up tonight and showed their support for them.
St. Francis up early, 8-0. And so far, Dutch Fork's offense has just not been able to drive the field outside of a single play. And that was a 22-yard completion to Jarvis Green out of the backfield. A short kick reeled in front of the 30-yard line, still up near midfield. Judge Fort getting a nice return.
It's a really good return right there. You got some good field position. Hopefully, you see what the offense can do with it right here. This is going to be a very boxes.
Quentin Stroman getting the back near midfield. Ball spotted at the 48 with 9 seconds left in this opening quarter. Dutch Fork will get one play off, and then we'll put this one in the books. Typically plays safety and receiver. Lining up in the Wildcat.
But the flag on the play.
Whistles will blow prior to the snap.
St. Francis, they're first. That's their first.
And a sideline warning against St. Francis to the far side. And they have a good crowd that traveled down from Baltimore as well.
Oh, absolutely. It's a great for those guys to they love to see that, to see the fans travel with them, being on the road far away from home. But when you have that kind of support system, it makes the players feel good about themselves.
Around the right side, Jarvis Green looking for pay dirt. Brought down to the 45-yard line, but after an initial great return on special teams to set them up near field, Dutch Fort will kick off the second quarter in St. Francis territory. At the end of one, the Panthers lead it on the road against Dutch Fort 8-0 with a touchdown score from Darrell Robinson being the difference maker. We'll be back on Flow Football.
If Ben makes the kick, he will get a $50 gift card. Good luck, Ben. Congratulations, Ben. You are the winner of a $50 Dick's Sporting Goods gift card.
Back for the beginning of the second quarter. It's 2nd and 4 for Dutch Fort from the 46-yard line of St. Francis. The Panthers leading it 8-0. Handoff around the left side with some action.
Good turn-up.
That was Maurice McGuire, his first carry of the night. And for a Dutch Fork offense that only had 35 yards in that opening quarter, well, they get a huge gain to kick off the second.
That was a big-time gain, and another good thing I like about that is it also gives Jarvis Green a good spell right there because he touched the ball a lot in that first quarter, so it gives him a chance to get a little rest because they're definitely going to need him for the long run of this game.
1st and 10, Silver Foxes, as they're looking for the responding score after Darrell Robinson 38-yard touchdown run. Out of the Wildcat is Taylor. Move the sticks again.
These guys are finding a way to get a good push, and they're moving the chains once again. Silver Foxes.
Paul Taylor, who is the third person we've seen in the quarterback position tonight for Dutch Fort. Don't be surprised if that number can grow upwards of 5 as the night goes on. 2 receivers right side, 2 now to the left with the tight end lining up. But it's Jarvis Green, the talented 3-star tailback in Wildcat. Nowhere to go on the left side.
And I think one of the things when you look at this game is when you see so many guys lining up at quarterback, you don't know what you're going to get if you're St. Francis. And I know it's one of the things that's kind of like hard for, for Dutch Fork is they don't have that consistent quarterback, but at the same time, St. Francis doesn't know what they're going to get. I know they watch film, but you don't know what these guys are going to bring to the table.
2nd and 11. You look at the defensive front of St. Francis. Looking at an LSU commit into Sean Womack. Isaiah Neal in the interior is going to Pitt. Sam Green just committed to Southern Cal last week to go play for Lincoln Riley. A shot over the right side, nearly reeled in by Wirtz.
Yeah, that was a good play by the defender as well. Find a way to get his hand on the ball because that was looking like it could have been 6 for Dutch Fork right there.
John Hunt, this is his 4th passing attempt of the night. He's been dealing with a little bit of injury as of late as well. Good to see him back on the field. You've heard us say Jarvis Green many times tonight. As you see him there, he's missed each of the last 2 weeks with a hamstring injury. But so far tonight for Jarvis Green, looks like that hamstring's good to go.
Yeah, so far tonight he's looking good, and they've been feeding the ball, and so I think he's good to go right now.
Hunt feeds Green again, but quickly swarmed up over the left side by Womack.
No gain on the play. Rush by number 4, Jarvis
After
Green.
consecutive plays, picking up a fresh set of downs, Dutch Fork is looking at 4.
This will definitely be a great thing for them. They did a good job of moving the ball down the field.
36-yard attempt. Whistles blow prior to the snap.
Five-yard penalty. Still remain.
Encroachment.
4th down.
Encroachment against St. Francis. So it is not enough for a first, but it draws you 5 yards closer.
5 yards closer, and that's another thing, St. Francis. That's those penalties that they keep on, that'll be something that can hurt them in the long run.
What was a 36-yarder is now a 31-yarder. Justin Welch, 6'1" sophomore. Brian Ford, backup quarterback, set to hold. Bobbled snap, the kick is blocked, and St. Francis will pick it up back to the 35-yard line. A huge stop for St. Francis's defense, and coming away with it was Colin Coates.
Yeah, that's something you don't want to see right there after a long possession, moving the ball down the field. You want to find a way to come away with some kind of points. Now the defense has to come back out here and get a stop. So this is going to be a key possession, another key possession right here so far in this game.
Dutch Fork remains scoreless tonight following the block kick. St. Francis, 1st and 10 from their own 34. Van Buren sees 4-man rush. Pass over the middle, tipped up, nearly intercepted, and bring up 2nd down. As we take a look back at this block kick, a little bit bad of a snap and hold, as Coates was the one to come away with the football. St. Francis quickly broke through in that special teams play.
On the pass, break up, number 41.
2nd 10, Van Buren
2nd down.
looking to drive his offense for their 2nd score of the night. Handoff around the right side to Ron Williams.
It looked like he only got a couple of yards right there on that play. 3rd down, getting ready to come up. Hopefully, Silver Fox can find a way to make another key stop right here. They have to be prepared on this play for a pass or a run. But Van Buren, he's a playmaker, so keying in on him, Van Buren.
South Carolina's best stop one of the top teams in the country on 3rd and 8. 9 minutes to play in the half. Pass left side.
Oh, it was a interception.
There goes to the house. Touchdown, Dutch Fort. Chandler Perry, just like that.
And that was the play they needed right there. A big time stop by the defense and a way to force a turnover and turn it into 6 points.
And Dutch Fort,
they are right back in it.
Brought this crowd alive. Our simple question was, could they get a 3rd down stop? Instead, a huge interception from Chandler Perry.
And it looked like the receiver, he didn't even know it was picked up. I guess he was thinking it was an incomplete pass, but it turned into a pick 6 for the defense.
Welch on to attempt the kick. He's just hoping this doesn't result in another block like moments ago. But suddenly, Dutch Fort, they're going to switch things up. Offense is jogging back on the field. The Silver Foxes are looking for the tie.
And I believe that right now they have a lot of confidence in their defense. So whether they get it or not, they have a lot of confidence that the defense will go out there and get another stop for them. But this is, when you got the crowd on your side and you got the momentum, why not go for it?
A 36-yard pick 6 for Chandler Perry. Dutch Fort Silver Foxes looking to do their best and take down the number 3 team in the country. Landon Danley in at quarterback.
Flag on the play. Looks like the guys flinched a little bit.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. Still got to try for Paul.
You said it, Carlos. Well, it was potentially a punch in. Maybe going with a sneak from Danley. Instead, you're backed up to the 6. And now the kicking team will jog back out.
And even right here, right now, it's so early in the game, even if you can't get the 2-point conversion, you kick an extra point, it's still okay. You're still in the game. The main thing is you do have points on the board.
Welch boots that through. Penalty flag flies in after the play.
Yeah, they just shoved the kicker down.
Roughing the kicker. Well, that'll be enforced on the ensuing kickoff. 8-7 our score. St. Francis still leads Dutch Fort, but that lead has been trimmed down courtesy of Chandler Perry. A huge pick 6. How, in your mind, Carlos, can a play like that change the momentum of this game?
It definitely shifts the momentum, especially, early on. Your offense they struggled a little bit. They moved the ball down the field, but they weren't able to get points. But then when you put your defense back out there and they force a pick 6, gives the team a lot of confidence that the defense can go out there and get the ball back for the offense and keep those guys and still keep them in the game regardless. And another key also was that with St. Francis getting so many penalties, that's definitely going to help Dutch Fort regardless right now so far in this game. So it looks like these guys are kind of struggling with a little bit of discipline right now.
Dutch Fort Silver Foxes riding a 43-game regular season win streak into tonight. Welcome the number 3 team in the country in St. Francis.
And as a football fan, this is something that you want to see. 2 of the best teams in the country going head-to-head and looking for a great outcome, just finish a good game.
Nice return from Benton. Back up to the 24-yard line, and that'll be where St. Francis will jog back out after the interception thrown from Van Buren. Heads back for the score for Dutch Fort. Well, you go through this season for this St. Francis team. They've yet to play a home game. They started out in Illinois against East St. Louis. They got the win. on the road at Venice, Florida, a 34-17 win. Handoff around the left side, quickly swallowed up. How about an interception first, and then a tackle for a loss second from Chandler Perry. The man does it again.
And this defense is playing with a lot of energy right now.
Bringing down Humes.
Looks like it's
over to the left side.
On the play, it looks like.
We do have a penalty flag out there. Chandler Perry playing some big man football in this second quarter. And is a face mask against St. Francis. It's a 5-yard face mask. Let me back him up a bit.
One of the things that I noticed so far in this game, St. Francis, they may have a lot of 4 or 5-star guys across the board, but they still commit a lot of penalties.
Under 9 minutes to play in the opening half. A 1-point game in Columbia, South Carolina. 1st and 15 from their own 19. Van Buren, quick strike over to the right side. That's Benton. They pick up a couple, but not much else. Dutch Fork's defense playing their best of the season.
Playing a lot of confidence and a good job. It's something that you want to see as a coach when the ball is in the air and you see the guys flying to the ball regardless and making it stop. .540 miles separate these two teams. About an 8-hour drive from Columbia to the Baltimore area.
Penalty flag flying in on 2nd and 12.
Head ball. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
The remnants of their matchup last week against Venice, where St. Francis struggled with the discipline and keeping the penalty flags in the referee's pockets.
Discipline is going to be so key. When you're playing one of the best teams in the country, you have to find a way to cut down on those penalties. Right now, St. Francis, they're really struggling with that right now. But regardless, with the way this Dutch Fork defense is playing, you don't want to hurt yourself. But right now, St. Francis is not doing themselves any favors right now.
A big burst up through the middle. Forget about moving in reverse. Jawan Williams says move those sticks ahead. A huge first down for St. Francis.
Yeah, right up the gut right there. Another good push by the offensive line.
Around the right side is Robinson. Powers his way towards midfield. And another first down for this St. Francis offense. Carlos, simply put, when they're clicking, they're moving.
Yeah, they look really good. When if they cut down on the penalties, these guys are finding a way to move the ball down the field. But then once they gain some momentum, next thing you know, they shoot themselves in the foot and they start backing up again.
1st and 10 from the 49. Van Buren goes trips left, one right. Pass caught, left side by Williams. Up over the 40 to the 38. A 13-yard pickup for Jawan Williams.
And Williams, as you see on that play, he found a way to make the first guy miss. It's an open field tackle. That's one of the toughest things to make, but he found a way to make the guy miss and get another first down for the offense.
Williams, 5'9", 185-pounder. Been a workhorse back tonight. Van Buren looking to escape pressure, rolling to the right side. Will keep it himself and get back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that was a good job out of defense of keeping everything covered. Of course, Van Buren to scramble. Picked up a little bit of yards, but not much on that play.
We talked about Michael Van Buren a little bit earlier tonight. 4-star quarterback, 10th in next year's class. He's just a junior. You go back to last year, though. He gets his first varsity start on the road against De La Salle. Yeah, that's right. De La Salle, the high school that movies have been made after, who once had a 151-game winning streak intact. He goes on the road in his first varsity start and doesn't blink. Gets the victory out in California.
That was a big time game to start your first game, man. But I know he stepped in there with a lot of confidence, and as you can see, his skill set is very valuable to this team.
Handoff up the middle for Washington. It's 3rd and 2. Now, this is 2-down territory for a St. Francis team that doesn't elect to go for field goals.
And I would assume at least one of these plays is going to be another handoff to the tailback right here.
Van Buren looking towards the end zone. Incomplete. Batted down from Dutch Fort. And the Silver Foxes get their first 3rd down stop they need. Now they need a 4th.
Another stop right here just to get an offensive chance to get the ball back again. And we already know they're going to go for it.
It's Landon Daney in on coverage. 4th and 2. And you could hear this Dutch Fort crowd all the way down to the coast. Washington,
right
the tailback. Handoff up the gut. Powering his way ahead for the first, it looks like. The line of scrimmage was the 29. He had to get to the 27.
And this was like that second effort that he had right there, helped him get the first.
Simply put, if St. Francis was a team that decided to go for field goals or even punt more times than not, this may be a totally different ball game.
Absolutely.
Key 4th down conversions. They're 2 for 2 tonight. Van Buren rolling left side. He's got a man up at the 10. That was a big-time pickup for Kyrie Benton, who had 3 catches in that first quarter. His first here in the second. Under 6 to play in the first half.
We're going to see if the Silver Fox can find a way to hold right here. You know, this is 4-down territory for St. Francis, but if Dutch Fort can find a way to just hold right here, this would be a great stop for this defense.
Movement along the defensive front of Dutch Fort. An easy 5 yards for a St. Francis offense that hasn't had much trouble moving the ball.
Yeah, they've been moving the chain. That's something you don't want to do is give this offense.
Be half the distance to the goal. Still first down.
With the way this offensive line has been able to get pushed on certain plays, you don't want to give them any yards at all, extra yardage.
1st and goal from the 4. There's a Darrell Robinson 38-yard carry that puts St. Francis on the board first. Van Buren, though, looking to pass. Got a man. Touchdown, St. Francis. It's Kyrie Benton extending the Panthers' lead.
There was a long drive right there by St. Francis. They found a way to punch it in, and as you can see, they don't hesitate. Even this close to the end zone, they don't mind throwing the ball.
Benton, the no doubt go-to player for Michael Van Buren tonight, as he makes this a 14-7 game pending the extra point. A kick up and good. Simeon Cole.
No good.
No good, I'm sorry.
No good.
It looked high. It looked good. 5.5 to play in this second quarter. 14-7 our score, and suddenly Dutch Fort is within a touchdown.
Yep, still right here in the game. Only thing they need is another touchdown and extra point, and it'll be all knotted up.
St. Francis 14, Dutch Fork 7. 5:32 to play in the second quarter. Carlos, if you're Dutch Fork offensively, what's your mentality outside of the obvious and looking for the score?
The mentality right now is still find a way to get your playmakers the ball, still be aggressive. You know, you don't want to go in the half just being content with where you're at right now, so just find a way to put some points on the board. And like I said, give it Jarvis Green and some of the other guys on offense and make some plays for you. But at the same time, you still don't want to give St. Francis too much time on the clock as well. But you still have to be aggressive at this point of the game because it still can go either way.
You see the mark from Tom Knotts. Since taking over this program in 2010, it has been nothing but the standard in South Carolina high school football. Look at those numbers, 146 wins to just 22 losses.
That's an unbelievable record. Like I said, when you year in and year out, you already know you're going to lose guys to graduation, but to hold that level of dominance every year is a true testament to the coach and the staff and to the players as well, to that level of commitment to excellence.
5-0 coming into tonight is Dutch Fork. 4-0 is St. Francis. One team must fall.
Will be one of the key players once again on this drive right here. Have to be able to try to get something going again, once again on the offensive side of the football.
Coleman boots it away from the 40. Reeled in, another short kick from the 25. That's Taylor along the far side. Doesn't find much room to run. 5:27 in this opening half. St. Francis up 14-7 following the 4-yard touchdown pass from Michael Van Buren to Kyrie Benton for their second score of the night. Dutch Fork Taylor and the Wildcats. He has Green, the tailback. Penalty flags fly in yet again. Just when they're looking to move forward, Dutch Fork.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Is headed backwards.
Yeah, this definitely won't help Dutch Fork right here, especially, being real heavy on the running game right now. This is one of the last things you want to do is move in the opposite direction.
A backfield stop from St. Francis. Leading the charge was Colin Coates.
Big time stop by the defensive line right there. Didn't really let him get anywhere on that drive right there. So they're still moving backwards, moving in the wrong direction.
Coates just heading a little bit of ways from Columbia next year up to UNC
Wide
Charlotte. A big time drop pass on the near sideline.
Yeah, it looks like it was miscommunication right there by St. Francis, and that would have been a big time play to help flip this game for the offense right there.
Braylon Bowers could have been in stride. You see the pass from Hunt. Just off the fingertips. He would have had one man to beat.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that. That pass right there wide open. You may have caught a hit at the end of it, but right there, it's one of those plays you have to make and give your offense a chance in this game right here, give them some confidence.
fresh out of their own timeout.
Yeah, it's a lot to ask for the offense to pick up 19 yards right here, but the thing is, you just want to get some kind of yards, even if you have to punt the ball.
Hunt takes a big-time hit, ball on the ground. Dutch Fort dives on it, but John Hunt had a huge time tackle inside the box. And who else? Deshaun Womack, the LSU commit, laying a big-time hit.
Yeah, he definitely took a shot on that play right there. It's not what you want to see your quarterback take that kind of hit, but thankfully he was able to stand back up on it.
Another huge loss for Dutch Fort as they look to drive down the field to tie things up instead. An unfortunate theme for them in this first half. That offense only moved backwards.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, but the penalty right at the beginning of it, that definitely didn't help them out. And then trying to run the ball, they weren't able to get a good push on it. And it just moved backwards. And then right there, that third down play, the hit on the quarterback forced the ball to pop loose. Even though they recovered it, they still lost a lot of yardage.
When you look across the defensive front of St. Francis, it's no secret what one of the biggest bright spots of their team is. Of course, their quarterback, Michael Van Buren, could be the top player in the country, but on the defensive line, get this. Brian Sims III, he's headed to Boston College. Sam Green, Southern Cal. Colin Coates, Charlotte. Isaiah Neal, he's heading to Pittsburgh. Donovan Dyson to UMass. And as we mentioned, Deshaun Womack, one of the top 3 defensive players in the entire country.
Yeah, it's just
coming
talent.
Off the edge.
But you still got to go head-to-head with him, and it's still a great matchup so far.
Perry on to punt away from his own end zone. Looking for a little bit of a fake. He'll now boot it away. Fair caught inside Dutch Fort territory. 4.5 to go. It's not a question. St. Francis looked to drive down the field, and they have with ease in this second quarter. With a touchdown pass from Van Buren to Benton moments ago. The key, though, Carlos, is this Dutch Fort defense. They've gotten the third down stops they've needed tonight, but haven't gotten the fourth down ones.
Yeah, they got to find a way to get off the field because they already know St. Francis is going to go for it on every down. So have to find a way to get a stop for these guys and try to get your offense the ball again before the end of this half.
Van Buren in the gun. Robinson and Washington is 2 tailbacks. Now play switch, trips right. With Washington remaining in the backfield. Dropping back to pass. Over the middle, almost intercepted. 2 Silver Foxes got their hands on it. None, though, able to come away with it.
Yeah, it's one of those plays you have to find a way. In these pivotal plays like this, you have to find a way to make an interception. Still a good job of breaking up the pass and getting your hands on the ball, but you would love to see, if you're Dutch Fort, you would love to see one of your guys get the interception right there.
Michael Van Buren's already thrown 1 pick tonight. Matthew Perry took it to the house. Three receivers left side. Van Buren out to Williams, across the 30, down the 20, wrapped up out of bounds on the last line of defense as Landon Danley made the stop.
Another flag on the play right here. It looks like it may be coming back.
St. Francis team that has struggled with penalties tonight. This will be their 6th of the evening.
We got holding against the offense. Repeat second down. Excuse me, repeat first down.
So just as you got inside the red zone, you're moving back into your own territory.
I can kind of see it right there by the receiver holding the defensive back right there.
Van Buren, hand off to Robinson, looking for room around the right side. Gets back up to the 45, but still a ways to go with a line to gain at the 33.
Second down. Looks like it's second down right here, but you want to, this defense, you want to just continue to get these key stops right here. Don't want to try to give up a first down at all, so your offense can get the ball back with a little bit of time left.
Tom Knotts is not happy down on the sidelines for Dutch Fork. Clock sitting at 4:14. I believe our scoreboard clock might be incorrect, and that's what the referees are conversating about. Second down.
Another flag.
A penalty filled first half for each of these two teams.
Not sure who this one would be called on.
Dead ball. Ball start on the offense.
We've
This
seen
will be
a,
second down. They had a pick.
we've seen a lot of this from the St. Francis, the entire St. Francis team so far this game. A lot of flags.
Third and long upcoming for St. Francis. Now referees will counsel up with the ball spotted at midfield. 3:58 in this first half. Just a touchdown separates these two nationally ranked powers.
Go right here, but I'm pretty, you can tell they're going to put it in Van Buren's hands and see if he can make a play.
Whistles will blow yet again. And this has turned into a referee's convention here in the last few moments.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this one is about right here.
Tom Knotts.
They're arguing the third down or what's going on right now. Now the referees are huddled up in the middle of the field. It gives your defense a little bit of a breather, but at the same time, it throws the flow of the offense off right here for St. Francis. But we didn't see any flags right here, so I know.
Quite an extended conversation. There are 17 yards to gain for the first down marker.
I'm not sure which. It looks like the referee's about to huddle up again to see what's going on.
Well, in the meantime, let's talk about how this St. Francis team has a big travel schedule ahead of them. You look ahead next week, they'll travel down. This home crowd had erupted. Well, there we go. We're back to third down
again.
Feels like you're doing the, what is it, the hokey pokey dance. 1 foot in, 1 foot out, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. That's what this feels like. Well, after all those extensive deliberations, I feel like we were trading nuclear secrets at midfield. It is 3rd and 17.
It looks like it's going to stay third down this time.
Tom Knotts, Dutch Fork head coach, finally happy on those sidelines. Home crowd on their feet. 3rd and 17 from midfield. Van Buren. Strike to the right side. Up across the 40, still on his feet. Brought down short of the first down marker. Is Blake Woodby. But like we said, this is a St. Francis team. If you give them 4 downs, they're going to take every chance they can.
They picked up a lot of yardage right there, so it makes the 4th down a lot more manageable for them right here.
4th and 3 from the 36. 3 minutes to go.
This is a big possession right here.
First half action. A stop in the backfield. Dutch Fork gets the job done.
That was a huge stop for Dutch Fork right here. Much needed. Now you give the offense a chance to put some points on the board right before the end of this half.
Landon Danley and Terrence Wells getting the stop when they needed it most. Dutch Fork keeps St. Francis off the board in this tail end of the first half, and the Silver Foxes will go down what they hope to. Up the gut, nowhere to go.
You just want to see the offense find a way to pick up some yards and move in a positive way and try to get some points on the board, because the offense, they still struggle so far in this game, but if they can find a way to
in Wildcat formation for a Dutch Fork team that's dealt with a plethora of quarterback injuries. We've seen 3 different players play that position tonight. 4 down lineman for St. Francis. Linebacker stepping up quickly, swallowing up the tailback in the backfield as Green gave the handoff Maurice McGuire for a loss of 2.
Well, I believe they're going to. Right here, taking a little bit of time off the clock. Hopefully, they're going to look and see if they can try to pick up a first down, or at least get some more yards. At least the way, if they have the punt, they can flip the field again.
Left side, nowhere to go for Green. 1:14 left in this second quarter. Now, St. Francis won the toss and deferred, so they will get it to start the second half. And a timeout taken by St. Francis with 4th and long upcoming. Just over a minute to go. We'll step aside in this first half on Flow Football.
Home, Colwell Bank, Palmetto Imaging, Schroeder Towing, United Railroad, Ameris Bank, Valentine Pediatrics, Heads Up Irrigation, Linnea Pool, Lifetime Cabinets and Countertops, Lucky's Burger Shack, Pro2 of Columbia. Also fans by the baseball stadium, Pelicans Ice is here.
Of course, the Midlands of the Palmetto State home. 4th and long. Perry boots it away. Retreating for St. Francis is Benton. Back to his own 25. Up across the 35. He's brought down there with 1:01 left in this second quarter. Carlos, if you're St. Francis with as talented of a quarterback as Michael Van Buren, who you talk to some in the coaching industry, we've heard comparisons this week of Bryce Young at Alabama. We've even heard as much as Russell Wilson, who's of course now with the Denver Broncos. With such little time, as talented as their tailbacks in Washington and Williams are,
you don't want to put it in harm's way, but I think these guys are going to try to get some points.
trips left. Van Buren keeps it close. Out of the backfield, Jawan Williams. A nice pickup of 6. Clock rolling past 48 seconds.
One of the things I've noticed so far with these guys is they can at least check it down to somebody, but I think they're going to try to go for pick up a big chunk.
Van Buren across midfield and caught by Kyrie Benton, tonight's go-to receiver. Up at the Dutch Fork 46-yard line. Clock will stop at 31 seconds.
If your Dutch Fork right here is give up a touchdown.
Van Buren rolling to his right. He'll take it out of bounds. Stop the clock at 22 seconds after a small pickup.
Rush for 2 yards on the play. All right, Foster's
ball in Van Buren's hand and try to get him to make a play right here.
The 4-star quarterback with 17 Power 5 offers. Dropping back to pass. Gets hit down the right sideline. A big-time catch into the end zone. Touchdown, St. Francis. Kyrie Benton on the strike from Michael Van Buren. Makes this a 2-score game.
Van Buren hung in long enough. He took a shot right there, but
they were looking to see if Benton had stepped out once he came down with the football, but referees gave the touchdown signal, and just like that, St. Francis gets a huge momentum shifter just before the break.
Yeah, there was a big momentum shift, and the DB was in a great position right there, but the receiver made a great play. And St. Francis, they get the ball back coming out of the second half, so they're going to have some momentum.
St. Francis on for the 2-point conversion. Williams is the tailback. Van Buren, though, rolling right side, up and over and in. An easy 2-point conversion. Benton, touchdown score moments ago. Well, that's now a 22-7 ball game here in Columbia with 13 seconds left, and St. Francis getting the ball back to start the third quarter.
Still a two-possession game regardless, so Dutch Fork, the main thing is don't go into the half with your head down. You're still in the game. You got to come out and make some plays, and the offense got to find a way to get some momentum as well.
13 seconds left. And now the referees are all hanging out near the end zone, which typical, if they might not change something here, then they would be setting up for a kickoff. Instead, they're all huddled up, as you can see, inside the 10-yard line. And Dutch Fork's defense is jogging back out on the field. First day of fall in Columbia. You can feel a little bit of chill in the air after it was 96 degrees yesterday. It is 64 here tonight.
You can definitely feel it in the air. It's cooling down out here, but this is football weather right here.
And that's also just South Carolina weather, right?
It is.
96 yesterday, 64 today.
Yep.
They break out the long sleeves versus yesterday. I'm not sure that St. Francis realizes it. At 5 for Van Buren in the gun. 3, 2, 1. The play clock has expired. That'll back him up yet again.
Delay a game. Here's the offense. Another 5-yard penalty.
Carlos, I just noticed there that St. Francis wasn't in too big of a hurry to get back on the field for another 2-point try. And, well, now you're looking at a pretty decent amount of yards for just a 2-point conversion.
I'm not sure they thought they were going to keep the points on the board or what, but it took them so long they didn't get a chance to get a playoff. But definitely right here you can expect Van Buren to put it in the air again.
Ball spotted at the 14-yard line for the 2-point conversion. Pass incomplete out of the back of the end zone. Well, the score sits 20-7. St. Francis over Dutch Fork. We'll keep it here to close out the first half with you. St. Francis, a team coming into tonight, number 3 in the country, and initially, they got on the board first. It was a 38-yard touchdown run from Darrell Robinson that gave St. Francis an 8-0 lead. Dutch Fork would respond with their only score of the night, a pick six from
They can do.
kickoff coming from the 40 with 13 seconds left in this first half. Short kick reeled in from the 30-yard line, immediately met by a host of St. Francis defenders.
Return, 1 yard on the play.
Took 4 seconds off. We'll leave 9 left. If you're Dutch Fork, do you take a quick strike or just run it out?
I think right now being down, it's a 2-possession game. It take at least one shot down the field, see if you can get.
With just 3 linemen, their back line of defense. Dutch Fork. Going with an empty backfield. Pass out to the right side. Caught by Perry. Steps across the 25. Pushed out there. Clock stops. No, it does not. That ends the first half of action. St. Francis on top of Dutch Fork, 20-7 in a matchup of national powers. Who prevails across the final 24 minutes? Stick with us on the other side for more of this high school football game of the week on Flow Football.
Celebrate the 2022.
Under the lights in Columbia, South Carolina, it's Dutch Fork and St. Francis facing off in a matchup of high school football powerhouses. Welcome back to Flow Football. Kay Crenshaw joined alongside Carlos Smith with you tonight. 20-7 our score. St. Francis leading the Dutch Fork Silver Foxes. St. Francis coming in number 3 in the country out of the Baltimore area. Meanwhile, Dutch Fork just sneaking into the polls for the first time this week at number 25. Let's look back at our first half. First, on the board early was a Darrell Washington 38-yard score. The Boston College commit, his second touchdown in as many weeks. And then a pick 6 for Chandler Perry. The lone score of the night from Dutch Fork came defensively to draw them back within 1. Meanwhile, St. Francis right back down the field, finding tonight's go-to target, and Kyrie Benton. That was his first score. Here's the second. Climbing his receivers back to reel it in to make this a 20-7 ball game heading into the second half. Carlos, after the first 2 quarters, what's the biggest difference maker for you heading into the third?
I think the biggest difference maker for me right now is just seeing how St. Francis, they're not afraid to put the ball in the air, and then when it comes down to Dutch Fork, the defense is doing all they can, but the offense has got to find a way to keep the chains moving, and also they can't be afraid to put the ball in the air. I know they had some issues with the quarterback dealing with injuries, but they did find a way to put the ball down the field one time, although the receiver didn't make the catch. But for me, I think they have to find a way to stretch the field and keep the defense honest for St. Francis.
So they will put their offense on the field first as they'll look to make this a 3-score affair in Columbia, South Carolina. Justin Welch, the sophomore kicker, to boot it away as we get the second half underway in your Flow Football High School Game of the Week. A bouncing kick that went off of a St. Francis body. Dutch Fork dives on it. Do the Silver Foxes come away with it? They believe they have it. And the referees agree.
This is huge.
Statement made by Dutch Fork. A low line drive kick from Justin Welch ricocheted off of the shoulder pad of the St. Francis defender.
That was a huge play right here. This is a chance for Dutch Fork. You have great field position right here. Now you have to find a way to capitalize and get some points. This could be a momentum changer right here if they can do something with it.
If that's a design trick play, the kicker Welch couldn't have executed it any better. Dutch Fork, 1st and 10 from the St. Francis 38-yard line. Liam Appler This team's starting quarterback through their first 2 games of the season has been out since with a shoulder injury. This time, though, ball popped out, and St. Francis comes away with it. Up at the 30, down to the 20, to the house goes St. Francis and Brian Sims III. A strip sack from Deshaun Womack and a recovery from Brian Sims III, the Boston College commit. Puts St. Francis up by 3 scores. And just as they saw the momentum go away, they reel it right back in.
Yeah, the momentum just swung the other way with that turnover right there. You can't hold your head down. It's still a long way to go. Now you offense just had to find a way to do something with it, come back out here and put some points up. But that definitely was a swing in momentum right there with that defensive touchdown.
A change of possession on the kickoff, and not in the ordinary fashion, as a line drive kick bounced off of a St. Francis defender, and Dutch Fort recovered at the 40. Well, then, just moments ago, a strip sack from Deshaun Womack of Liam Appler. And St. Francis going away with it. Now the 2-point conversion. Penalty flag flying in on the backside of the end zone. The pass was reeled in. Brian Sims III. Boy, if you're a Boston College fan, you have to be happy with what you're seeing from tonight's game. First, it's Darrell Robinson, the tailback, getting in a score in the first quarter. And now Brian Sims III with the defensive touchdown.
Absolutely, a lot of talent headed the way.
A retry upcoming for St. Francis.
Who ran that in?
Just 18 seconds have gone by in this third quarter, but this feels like a Tom Cruise movie, how action-packed it's been.
Yeah, very rare that you see a lot of back-to-back turnovers that way, but then this one right here just swung it out wide open for these guys. But it's something that you won't want to see if you're Dutch Fork right now.
2-point try upcoming from the 18-yard line. Van Buren escapes one defender. Incomplete. Well, the score will stand 26-7. St. Francis leading Dutch Fort. Brian Sims, fumble recovery to the house for 6. St. Francis on top early in this third quarter. We'll be back on Flow Football. Carlos with a 43-game regular season win streak on the line for the Silver Foxes. How can they turn the tides?
Right now in this position, like they haven't found themselves in this position before many times in the past. But I think right now you're going to have to put the ball in the air, being down 3 scores. Still, you have to keep them honest with the running game, but you have to find a way to make some big plays right here.
Paul Taylor from the 20 gets up to the 35.
12-yard return.
11:36 to play in this third quarter. Well, Dutch Fork's up. And now we see John Hunt back in at quarterback. A quick strike over to the right side. Reeled in for a pickup of 9 yards.
Reception by number 17, Isaiah Jones.
By Isaiah.
But this game is not over. Still just one play at a time to get back.
From their own 44, Jarvis Green in Wildcat. Looking to get back to the line of scrimmage. They'll lose one.
Looked like they got a little bit of movement early, but it looks like the referee would let them get away with that one. Just for it wasn't able to get too much on the play.
Dutch Forks head coach Tom Knotts, now in his 12th season at the helm of the Silver Foxes, told us earlier this week, you look at St. Francis on film, simply put, it's one of the best teams he's ever seen. And this is a man who's won numerous state championships both in South Carolina and in North Carolina.
So you won't find too many teams that has this level of talent right here. So it's a reason that they're one of the top 3 in the country right now. It's just a lot of 4- or 5-star guys across the board.
Knotts in his 31st year as a head coach. Out of the Wildcat is Taylor again. Ball's loose. St. Francis signaling they got the recovery before sliding out, and indeed they did. St. Francis football, courtesy of Ife Abdegwu.
Yeah, that was something you don't want to see being down as much. Understand, take what you can get and and just get down with the football. You don't want to lose it right here.
Abadegu, a 3-star corner, uncommitted coming into tonight, but an offer list includes Boston College, Colorado, UConn, Liberty, among his 17 offers. First and 10, St. Francis from the Dutch Fork 46. Darrell Robinson tried redirecting his field. He's brought down for a loss of 2.
It's going to be interesting to see with Dutch Fork how they hold their heads. The defense, they've been doing a good job so far in this game. Now it's really time for them to buckle down and try to create a turnover themselves and get the ball back to the offense.
Second down.
Coaches who both have played St. Francis so far this season, and a couple who still have them on their schedule. Another tackle for a loss on a carry from Robinson. But you speak to the opposing head coaches and you simply say, why schedule St. Francis? Such a talented team, such a big time challenge, and more times than not, the answer you get, what do we have to lose, right? If we are able to get the win, it's a huge marquee win for our program. If you lose, well, simply put, that's what most people expected in the end with how nationally coveted they are as a program.
Right, and I think it's just a good test to see where you are as a program, especially when you've been so dominant in your state for so long. This just gives you a chance to see something different that you haven't seen before. And, of course, you know you're not going to see them again in the season because, you know, 2 different states. But it just gives you a chance to see where you stand as a program. So it's always a good test for your players.
Tom Knotts here at Dutch Fork is no stranger to building up powerhouses. Probably best known prior to this recent run with the Silver Foxes. You go back to Independence High School up in North Carolina. And between 2000 and 2007, that man right there won 109 straight games.
Absolutely. Just a level of consistency that you would love to see from a coach and building up program.
7 straight state championships up at Independence High School. Here at Dutch Fork, he's had a great run as of late. Winners of 5 of the last 6 5A titles here in South Carolina. A big-time St. Francis punt down inside the 5 at the 6. 7:22 in this third quarter. Dutch Fork, simply put, they need offense, and they need it quickly. Down 26-7 to St. Francis.
Yeah, they have a long way to go right here. One play at a time. Just be consistent, take care of the football. The key is right here, definitely, you don't want to turn the ball over right here because you definitely give St. Francis a short field to punch it in. So just take care of the football.
Now St. Francis trying to lock up this victory here tonight and then hit the road yet again. They've played each of their games this season on the road. Coming in tonight, a 3-0 mark, Dutch Fork 5-0. The snap for Green in the Wildcat. Back up the middle, swallowed up by Womack. 3-0 coming into tonight is St. Francis. They'll be back on the road next week. But not just on the road. They'll have to take a plane to get there. Traveling down to Hawaii to take on Kahuku High School.
That's going to be exciting for these guys. I'm sure that's a chance for them to hit the road again. You know, enjoying yourself with your teammates, no greater feeling than that right there.
A 9,600-mile round trip to Hawaii coming up on Monday. An incomplete pass on the near side, looking for Jones to bring up third down.
He took a big shot right there.
St. Francis up by 19. Two receivers right, one left. Hunt dropping back to pass. Looking for Green out of the backfield. Nearly ran into some trouble as Cameron Howard flew off the edge.
It was fortunate that the defender wasn't looking at the ball because that could have easily been a pick six if he had his head turned up.
A little bit of a deflection, but it'll bounce back near the 40. Now, St. Francis plays a mainly road schedule because they're playing such high-profile teams, and most of the time teams will only schedule them if they can get them for a home game. Meanwhile, you look at their home schedule.
But I know these guys are the way they play is 1 week at a time. But I'm pretty sure they have that one penciled down already.
Silver Foxes, meanwhile, well, they didn't play a home game until tonight. Any stadium renovations need to be completed. Brand new stadium here at Dutch Fork High School, and it is a gorgeous one. And there's still a little bit of work to be done. Van Buren's pass over the head of Manning up near the 30. Bring up 3rd and 7 from the 36.
Give a lot of credit to this defense right now. They're not hanging their heads. They're still fighting. Just trying to find a way to get the ball back once again to this offense. I'm sure they would love to find a way to put it in the end zone again.
Trips right, one left for Van Buren. Early movement along the line, penalty flag on the field. What was 3rd and 7, now 3rd and 12 for the top team out of Maryland, St. Francis Academy.
It'll be interesting to see what they do right here.
Three receivers to the right side for the 4-star quarterback, Michael Van Buren. Now whistles blow prior to the snap, signaling to start rolling the game clock. Now, of course, we'll reset the play clock as well, back to 25. Third and 12 upcoming for St. Francis. Line to gain the 29. Handoff. Washington with a burst of speed moves the sticks.
It's a big time run right there by the tailback.
Darrell Robinson has been phenomenal here tonight. We said it earlier, Carl.
If you're these guys, like you said, these guys travel all over and they're getting the best talent. And so you can see what these guys do on a weekly basis against some of the best players in the country.
Pass caught near side. That's Blake Woodby reeling it in, a sophomore receiver. But penalty flag down on the field.
Flag on the play.
Woodby's second catch of the night. Holding against St. Francis. Again, the unfortunate theme for their group tonight and the early part of their season, as talented as they are at times, just struggling with the mental side of things and committing unnecessary mistakes.
Very talented team, but so many penalties. I've lost count right now, but they have to stay disciplined, especially in these type of games. And as you go further, it's something I understand this is the fourth game of the season, I believe, but it's something you have to cut down on, or the penalties moving forward.
Three receivers to the left side for Van Buren. 1st and 13 following the penalty. Van Buren airing it out deep down the left side, incomplete with a flag on the play. Looking for Manning up near the pylon.
Well, it may end up, end up calling the pass interference.
There's Javon Mack backing coverage for Dutch Fork.
Gets the defense, first down. Yeah, it'll be a first down.
4.5 to play in this third quarter. Van Buren, just a great strike down the field, overthrew his receiver by about 5 yards. But either way, you can see tonight when you watch Michael Van Buren play,
and getting the ball, putting the ball down the field.
following the pass interference, it's 1st and 10, St. Francis from the Dutch Fork 16. Woodby sent in motion around the left side. Ball's on the ground. Diving on it are the Silver Foxes, but it looked like Woodby was able to recover. What has it been about this third quarter that has just seen the ball be popped loose so much from both teams.
Yeah, both of these guys right here just got to find a way to get. You wanted to find a way to get the ball right there, but it's unfortunately the ball is not bouncing Dutch Fork's way right now. But trying to steal in the.
This is blow prior to the second down snap. St. Francis looking to find the end zone for the fifth time tonight. Van Buren in the gun, has a man left side, quickly stepping out was Woodby, who has just had a magnet for the football on this drive.
Clean pass. Gain of 8 on the play. First down.
And Van Buren is in complete control of this offense right now. He's taking the time, not forcing anything, just picking his spots here and there where he wants to put it.
3 receivers to the right side. So this is blow at the snap yet again.
Good ball, false start on the offense, 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
If you're looking ahead for this St. Francis team, if they have their eyes set, which they do, if you talk to head coach Masay Helamariam, he'll tell you that they're ready to be the team in the country to beat among the prep ranks. If you want to go up against your Mater Days, your St. John Boscos, and the other likes of that, St. clean up the undisciplined mistakes.
Yeah, I can guarantee you as they go further in the season, a lot of these guys, a lot of the best teams, like the top 2 teams in the nation, they won't make these kind of penalties or these mistakes in these games.
Another penalty flag out there, and it looks to be against the Panthers yet again.
Flag on the play.
Well, it was 3rd and 8. St. Francis going in reverse yet again. That look says it all for Dutch Fork tonight. Well, Dutch Fork going to take a chance. Instead of backing them up, what would have been 3rd and long, they keep it 3rd and 8. And instead just take the loss of down. 4th down. 8 yards to go.
This might be the biggest play so far for Dutch Fork right here. They can just hang on once again.
Silver Foxes cheering on their team proud. But a timeout taken. We'll take it with them. 4 minutes left in this 3rd quarter. St. Francis, their first time out of the break with a huge 4th down upcoming. Back on Flow Football. Fresh out of their own timeout, St. Francis looking at 4th and 10 with just over 4 minutes left in this third quarter.
By far, the biggest play so far for this defense right here.
Van Buren towards the end zone, incomplete. And here's a penalty flag flying in back to the line of scrimmage. Leave some extracurriculars after the play. And Dutch Fork's coaching staff quickly wants their team back on the sideline.
Yeah, it looks like that one was after the play, so regardless, it'll be Dutch Fork football.
You got a personal foul. Personal foul. Here. Refuse. It's going to be first down. First down, Dutch Fork.
Personal foul against St. Francis. That takes the penalty total into double digits for the Panthers. The first down upcoming for Dutch Fork. Their offense will take over. The ball spotted at their own 21.
It's time now.
Here we go indeed. First and 10, Dutch Fork from their own 17-yard line. Green in the gun, gonna keep it himself around the left side. And a swarm of white jerseys push him out after picking up a yard.
And what you saw on that play right there, the defender just held him up, slowed Green down just long enough for the rest of his team to get there. And then the rest of the guys came in and helped clean the play up.
We're going to have to play in this third quarter. 2nd and 9 for Dutch Fork. Hunt's pass complete to the right side. Up near midfield with a huge gain for Dutch Fork.
That was a huge play right there by the offense.
Isaiah Jones, his second catch of the night. Moves the sticks up near midfield. The biggest offensive play by far on the little trickery. It was Jacob Hamilton making the receiver pass out to Jones. Maybe that's what it takes. Start pulling all your stops out of the playbook to battle back. To Jones again, stiff-arming a defender across the 35-yard line up to the 30. Enough for another first.
Looks like Dutch Fork is opening up the playbook now, airing it out, just trying to find a way to get back into the game. Two big-time plays back to back.
Down 3 scores. Action, quarterback keeper, left side from Danley. Up across the 23-yard line. If you're Dutch Fork, you're looking, of course, to find the end zone here in hopes you can head into the fourth quarter down by just 12.
There's still time in this game, but at this point in time, you still have to find a way to keep moving the ball. And I think right now, they're going to pretty much know it's 4-down territory regardless. They got to find a way to get some points.
2nd and 4 upcoming for Dutch Fork. John Hunt back in at quarterback. He'll have two receivers to the right. Hunt, a junior, 6'1", 220 pounds. Jarvis Green, the three-star back, who's headed to James Madison next fall, stands beside him in the backfield. After some conversations with the referee, with the man handling the downage marker, who's had his struggles at times tonight.
Yep.
Well, 2nd and 4 from the 26. Hunt sends Green out in motion. Stepping up in the pocket, keeping himself up across the 20. Tripped up by Isaiah Neal, a senior Pitt commit.
Good job right there by the quarterback of hanging on to the ball, not turning it over right there, covering it up.
Ground game to the left side from Taylor. Clock coming up on 2 minutes in this third quarter. And now the yardage marker says 4th. Like we said, old guy's had his struggles. Around the right side, brought down to the backfield, up at the 25. Green had nowhere to go except backwards.
It was stopped as soon as he touched the ball. They were already back there in the backfield.
You know, we saw this past weekend how Herm Edwards, fired from Arizona State,
seen it, but the way this thing is going.
If you missed it earlier on, we had about a 6-minute span in that second quarter. Coaches were arguing at midfield logo on which down it was, and Tom Knotts was saying it was 3rd down. The yardage marker was saying it was 2nd. It was all over the place.
Yeah, it was just a back and forth, not sure what was going on. The referees huddling up in the middle of the field. Coach was trying to see what was going on as well. Just a lot of commotion and a lot of confusion early in this game.
Clock under 2 minutes now in this third quarter. 26-7 our score. St. Francis on top of Dutch Fork. One score coming in this third quarter from the Panthers. But outside of that, Dutch Fork's offense, while they've had bright spots at times, the touchdown responsible, well, that goes to their defense, and a pick 6 on the only interception thrown tonight from Michael Van Buren, picked off by Chandler Perry midway through the first.
It's part of the game. It happens, but you still got to find a way to keep it going and see what the offense can do right here on this possession.
Hunt getting pressured, brought down. A huge sack from Sam Green. You're looking at a future Southern Cal Trojan just committing last Thursday. You can see Green's bursting ability through the line and physicality on the tackle.
Yeah, he really didn't have much.
.30 seconds in this third quarter. One receiver to each side for Hunt.
See if they chuck it down the field and see if they can get a.
He'll keep it himself. Gets back to the 35 and up to the 34. St. Francis takes over control from the 34. 21 seconds in this third quarter. Dutch Fork needing a much-needed score.
You know, the quarterback decided to hold on to the football.
DeJuan Williams up across the 45 to the 47-yard line of Dutch Fort. Got out of bounds. Clock stops at 13 seconds in this third period. Williams, junior tailback, looking at next year's class. 17 offers for him so far coming in tonight from the Power 5.
I would imagine that has to be a luxury right there, where you can give your starters a break, a quick breather, and then, you know, you got another 4 or 5-star guy coming in right behind them that's heavily recruited. They can help carry the load as well. Another penalty on St. Francis.
That'll back him up. Holding, which will be applied to the end of the run. Before you look ahead on St. Francis' schedule, like we mentioned, they're in Hawaii next week against Kahuku. If there's one thing you take away from tonight, they've got to clean up the Yellow Hankies.
Penalties, penalties, penalties. They have to stay disciplined. Like we've been saying all night long, it's a very talented team, but those penalties, as you move forward in the season, I know it's still early for those guys. They haven't played as many games yet, but you still have to clean it up.
That's the end of the third quarter. 12 minutes left in Columbia, South Carolina, and St. Francis out of Maryland leads Dutch Fort 26-7. We'll be back for the final quarter when we return to the high school football game of the week on Flow Sports.
Good luck, Rob. It's good. Congratulations, Rob. You're a winner of a $50 gift card.
For a St. Francis team that puts their offense back on the field, 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line. A quick handoff to Robinson up over the middle. Overall tonight, that being their 51st play, and after a pickup of 3 yards, that takes them to 347 on the night, total offense.
Yeah, I admire the Dutch Fort defense, which is still fighting, but right now, the St. Francis, they've been able
Van Buren rolling out. Looking over the middle, incomplete. Trying to find his tight end. And Chase Wilkins.
All right, Silver Foxes. Let's get loud again. It's up now. Kings Lightning.
Dutch Fort needing a big fourth quarter comeback to keep their 43-game regular season win streak intact.
Yeah, this game is not All the plays by the offense once they get a chance to get back out there on the field.
3rd and 7 from the 37. Van Buren with one man in the backfield, sees 3 receivers to his right side, 1 to his left. Gave the handoff to Robinson, and he had nowhere to go. A loss on the play, back to the original line of scrimmage. 39.
That's a good stop by the defense right here.
4th down upcoming. Just 1 punt tonight from St. Francis and went for 37 yards back in the first quarter. Every other 4th down, they've gone for it.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was expecting them to continue doing the same thing, going for it. But right now, when you're in the command of the game, don't put your defense on a short field.
2 of 5 tonight on 4th down conversions has been St. Francis. Booing it away is Wilkins. From the 30 goes Hamilton. Pushed out near the 45, and that's where we'll see Dutch Fork's offense for the first time in this 4th quarter. 111 total yards of offense tonight for Dutch Fork. 29 carries for 24 yards against a defensive front in St. Francis that bolstered.
Control up front, that's where it always starts anyway. For those guys, they've done a great job stopping the run and command and shutting down the pass as well.
Hunt sends a man in motion. Hands off to Green. It's quickly brought down in the backfield. A big-time stop from the UNC Charlotte commit. And Colin Coates.
Rush by number 20, Maurice McGuire. Loss of 4 on the play. 2nd down.
A little bit surprised right there by that play call right there. You know, being down this much with time winding down, I was expecting these guys to, you know, a little bit more.
2nd and long for Dutch Fork. 14 yards to go. Hunt out of the far side, caught near midfield. St. Francis just seems to have a host of defenders on every stop. As Danley reeled it in.
That's what you want to see it as a defensive coach, though. You want to see your guys, once the catch is made, any kind of plays made, you want to see your guys fly to the football and get a stop.
We mentioned Colin Coates, though, a UNC Charlotte commit, with St. Francis not heading to their next road trip, Hawaii, until Monday. Wrestled out of bounds goes Hunt back to the 45. Look on the college football schedule tomorrow. Charlotte is here in town in Columbia to take on Shane Beamer's Gamecocks of South Carolina. With the clock coming up on 8 minutes. 7:49 left in this fourth quarter. St. Francis 4th and 10 upcoming for the Silver Foxes, as they'll need a huge conversion here to keep their comeback hopes alive. John Hunt rolling out to his right side and swallowed down to the ground. It's Darian Smith, the junior tackle, wrapping him up for not only just the loss, but a turnover out of bounds, and St. Francis takes over well in the Dutch Fork territory.
Yeah, these guys just kind of, the quarterback didn't see much open, but I would have loved to see them just chuck it down the field. Even if they do pick it off, at least you do kind of flip the field for the other team anyway. But he took a sack right here, but right now Dutch Fork is just trying to continue putting up a good fight and get another stop.
First down, St. Francis. The Dutch Fork 36. We've got a fresh quarterback into the game, as it appears Michael Van Buren's day is done. It's Edward Jordan, true freshman.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more of the backups come in at this point of the game. Pretty sure they'll try to hand the ball off a few times, just try to get out of here with a victory.
Clock continues to roll now, coming up on 7 minutes. Pickup of 2 on the carry, and second down upcoming. Look across to the far.
Those guys, they did a great job this entire game, making the plays when it was necessary, and then coming out in this second half and getting a defensive touchdown. So those guys have a lot to be proud of.
Helmet came off on that carry. It was Devontae Johnson, another true freshman in. So you're on true freshman, and your quarterback and your tailback at this point. But this is the next group for St. Francis moving forward. Looking ahead to next year, you bring down their 2023 class. Womack, the highest rated recruit, 4-star going to LSU, the top player in the state of Maryland. As a timeout has been taken by St. Francis, but across their 2023 class, 7 Division I commits. Let's break it down for you. Womack heading to LSU, as we said, and all but 2 of these are on the defensive side of the football. We go to the interior of the line. Isaiah Neal, he's headed to Pittsburgh. Sam Green just committing to Lincoln Riley, Southern Cal last week in their game at Venice, Florida. KP Price, who's made some good stops tonight out of safety, he is headed to Boston College. Meanwhile, Donovan Dyson, who's on the second team for this group, 3-star headed. Fresh out of their own timeout, the true freshman quarterback, Edward Jordan. Hands off the right side to Woodby, and he's ran backwards from the line of scrimmage. No gain.
Rest of the play, no gain on the play. It's fourth down, Silver Foxes.
And it just looks like right now that St. Francis just wants to hand the ball off a few times and just try to get out of here with a victory. May throw it a couple times here and there, but for the most part, they just want to hand the ball off.
Under 6 minutes left here tonight. Looking ahead for St. Francis, we've alluded to it a couple of times tonight, but they've got a 4,800-mile plane ride coming up on Monday as they will travel over to Hawaii and take on Kahuku. a top 50 team nationally, the #1 team in Hawaii. The strike from Jordan incomplete, looking for his man up near the 15. St. Francis looking to improve to 4-0 this season before they travel to Hawaii. Imagine being a high school kid and not only just getting to experience the road trip that
victory.
Hunt hit as he throws, knocking his helmet off, did Coates.
Yeah, he took a huge shot right there on that play right there. It's good to see him get back up from it.
Hunt has taken a beating from this defensive line of St. Francis. Another look at it here.
Yeah, that was a big hit.
Looking for his man out of the backfield. And Braylon Bowers. Fresh quarterback in. It's Liam Appler, a senior who is this team's typical starting quarterback, but injured his shoulder back in week 2. Tonight, his first game back out there. You've seen him take a couple snaps, but you can tell they're still slowly bringing him back on.
Yeah, I guess that right now they just want to get him some reps in, but they don't want to put him in harm's way.
Appler looking to pass. Popped up, falling incomplete.
But I would expect Appler as the weeks go on, continue to get reps with practice, continue to get healthy. But he'll probably be one of the guys they look to more as the season progresses. On both sides of the football, and that's all you can ask for from your football team.
Appler, quarterback keeper around the right side, met at the 37 for a pickup of 6. Liam Appler just trying to create whatever space he can. And this is a St. Francis team. We've talked about the talent that they have here tonight, but you look at what you can see if you turn on your television sets tomorrow and watch college football. How about Darren Dalcourt, the starting center for Nick Saban's Alabama Crimson Tide? He's a 2019 and then Jamin Dumas Johnson, a recent graduate from St. Francis,
this
part
team,
of Kirby Smith.
Here they just have a pipeline of talent that's going to be playing even tomorrow. And these guys right here, a lot of these guys will be playing on that next level also next year.
A big-time hit along the far side. As laying it down was Donovan Cornish. Pass caught out there by Bowers. Second and 7 from the 45.
And I would have loved to see Dutch Fork. I know they were battling with a lot of injuries this week. I would have loved to see them at full strength just to see what these guys could do. But regardless, you still got to go out there and play the game. But credit them for still fighting. And this game is still not over yet. They're still trying to just make some more plays and get ready for the next week.
A loss back to the 41-yard line on the carry from Bowers. 3rd and long. Up to be the team to beat in the Palmetto State. Now how do they compete against some of the nation's best? And they know as great of a run as they've had, if they want to compete even more at the national scale, they've got a little bit more to build.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see. One of the things, part of football, part of the game is you're not going to win every single game, so I'm going to be interested to see how going forward, how they handle taking a loss on their record, knowing that they won't have to see this team again this season. But, just moving forward, see how they handle losing the football game and what it does for them in the long run as they make a run for the state championship.
Picking up a couple yards was Leighton Schuler, junior receiver. But still, it's 4th and long upcoming. The punt team jogging on with 2 minutes left. And the big may not pick up in tonight's matchup. Well, look at St. Francis. Here's a fake up across midfield, not getting to the first down marker. And St. Francis will take over at the 50. Biggest difference between these two teams, St. Francis is a private school. You can bring in different players and cater to your athletic department. Meanwhile, Dutch Fort, a public high school here in Richland County, South Carolina. They're working with the players in their area.
Absolutely. And this Fort, they still have a lot of talent on this team. And you have to have a lot of talent.
As on his varsity roster. This is a Dutch Fort team that also has a JV squad that's high in numbers. But earlier this week, you go, and of course, as we were getting ready for this game, you print off their team roster, and it takes up 5 full papers.
Absolutely. A lot of guys on the roster. But it's something that these guys can continue to build on for next season and moving forward. You can expect a lot of great things for both of these teams as they continue going forward with this football season. Dutch Fort has nothing. Just a good building block.
Handoff back up the middle again to the true freshman back. Well, for Dutch Fort, this is their last out-of-state opponent of the season. They'll get into their region play. Begin to end the regular season in late October. It's Garrett again around the left side, brought down across the 30. Meanwhile, for St. Francis, we've said it. They're traveling on their continued road trip. Is over 12. Clock now running under 10 seconds as St. Francis has traveled down to the Palmetto State and taken down South Carolina's best. Final score, St. Francis 26, Dutch Fort 7. Carlos, your final thoughts?
Hats off to both teams. They did a really good job. A lot of penalties in this game, but regardless, the defense of St. Francis, they were outstanding tonight. Dutch Fort, they were unable to push the ball down the field as much as they probably would have liked to, dealing with a lot of